I'm Jeff Schwartz at Schwartz Performance. It's early December and we're doing a shop update. We've talked in previous episodes about the Porsche 356 that we're going to be cutting up. Well, we are in fact cutting it up now. So I'm really looking forward to completing this project. It's going to be awesome, and I'll show you a few other pieces that we're working on in a second. This is the front suspension of a 997 Porsche. Those were made from 2005 to 2012. So we're essentially taking the front and rear suspension of a Porsche 997 911 Turbo and narrowing it and fitting it to a custom chassis we're building for the 356. This is what we've got so far for the rear suspension. Again, it's the 997 Porsche stuff, and then we've fabricated our own subframe. This is going to get bolted to the rear bulkhead, very similar to like a Daytona prototype race car, where it's modular in construction. You can take the rear section and completely unbolt it, and the same thing with the front section, completely unbolted. So this will be fitted with an Audi 4.2 liter V8 with a transaxle, and it's going to be a mid-engine, whereas the Nut 356 was normally a rear-engine car. The engine was actually behind the rear tires. The engine will be mid-engine ahead of the rear tires. This S10 we talked about before. It's getting shipped over to the Eastern Bloc, but this is a 1982 S10 getting a LS7 engine. We're done with the chassis and we're just doing mini tubbing and modifying the bed for rear suspension clearance. It's going to be laying so far on the ground that the bed had to be contoured to make clearance for the Ford 9-inch going up and down. We're pretty much wrapped up with the cab modifications on this 52 Ford pickup. We extended the cab 6 inches to have a little more room inside, and the doors are all modified. We fitted power window assemblies to them, and the roof has been refabbed and contoured on the English wheel and the planishing hammer, and everything's looking really good now. And we just have a few things to button up on the chassis, fab and exhaust and so forth, and then it'll be painted. This is the bed of that 52 Ford pickup cab we were just looking at, and to make the proportions right, these fenders on the Ford truck were in a real rearward position, so we've actually moved them forward some, and it gives the truck a more balanced look. You'll see when it's done that it actually looks a lot more attractive than the original Ford truck did, just by repositioning the fenders. And the extended cab almost gives it like a chopped look somewhat, so it should be real nice. This is the chassis for the 52 Ford truck. That's a Coyote with the Boss 302 version, and we mount our master cylinder on the truck chassis, on the older truck chassis, underneath the floorboard, so it gives you a cleaner firewall, and it's just utilizing the space. We're running the stock headers on this truck, and then we're going to run a 3-inch exhaust down through the chassis. The 67 Vet convertible is coming along. We fitted the, I guess they call this a Stinger style hood. We fitted the Stinger style hood, and we're doing fiberglass repairs on it right now. Pretty much everything is mocked up, and we still got a little bit of detail work to work out before we blow it apart for final paint and body. This is the 70 CUDA we talked about previously, where we're doing a right-hand drive conversion. It's getting shipped overseas, actually to India. And we have a 6.1 Hemi that's getting a supercharger. We're going to exceed the horsepower of the Hellcat. We're shooting for 750 to 800 horsepower. The fenders finally came in from Auto Metal Direct. They were back ordered for quite a number of months, and we've got everything mocked up now. And Jim just finished fabricating the inner aprons and the core support. We're putting a B-Cool radiator in here. It's rated at 1,000 horsepower. It's got a lot of extra capacity, and shouldn't be any problem cooling it in that heat of the Middle East. finished up the tunnel fabrication, and we're in the process of getting the steering wheel mocked up and the positioning of all that. And then we'll, once we have those pedals and the steering wheel in the correct place, then we're going to do the fabrication of the instrument panel and the dashboard. This is the 75 Trans Am project we were looking at a while back on fitting these fiberglass pieces. Well, we have all these pieces now from Texas Trans Am, and the Year One Bandit fender flares come down farther than the original spoiler. So Jim had to take the original reproduction fiberglass one from Texas Trans Am, and we had to extend it down to meet the spoiler piece, and it had to come forward several inches. So now all this stuff is fitted, and we have a fiberglass bumper on top of our Swiss cheesed bumper support, and this is ready for final bodywork and paint now. This is my 1981 Turbo Trans Am. Makes 1,041 horsepower at the rear wheels. We named it Full Force Trans Am because it has a full frame and it's forced induction. The car has been a phenomenal car, but we've got to move on to other things, and we've got fresh projects in our mind that we have to bring to fruition. So somebody's going to get a great deal on this car. We've consigned it to the Barrett-Jackson auction January 16th, 2015, and this is lot number 1081. Barrett-Jackson.com for info on it. You can bid online, over the phone. It's a Friday auction, and it should be somewhere around prime time, which they say is 5 to 10 p.m. So someone will be able to buy this for a fraction of what its build cost was, which was around the $300,000 mark to duplicate this car. So spread the word. It's a great car. Has a lot of horsepower. It's geared for 214 miles an hour at 6,500 RPM. I have not tried it out yet, but it does an easy 140 1/4 mile with street tires.